Hey, 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 hey. What y'all gonna do? We'll cruise up among the stars. No matter what you do, I'll get you back up off the wall. Yes, sir. Yo, life is full of options, switching all the time, but the quickest way from A to B is still a straight line. I ain't lying, that is science. I'm trying to explain, cause if you apply determination, you can do anything. You can put your mind to. Give me the audio chord so I can find something to ride to. We're about to fly to another planet. Is magical, warp speed like it's intergalactic. The way you make me feel, let's dip, cause we can fly in my starship like Han Solo by the castle mines, like Cowboy Bebop with jet inspired, like Captain Kirk on the Enterprise. We can travel far like a Dharma did in a Battlestar. I'm flinging haters like a catapult. You feel the heat, take it off. Like what y'all gonna do? We'll cruise up among the stars. No matter what you do, I'll get you back up off the wall. Yes, sir. Keep your windows down. Breeze hitting, you didn't know, but you know now. I'm not kidding, there ain't no stopping. BSing is not an option. I just wanna see everybody rocking. I wanna see you getting higher than a rocket. Land a spacecraft with Neil and Buzz Aldrin. She in the cockpit, cruising at an altitude up there where all the stars live. Take the TARDIS back to Gallifrey, we're the guardians of the galaxy. Like Superman and Lois Lane, go to Cybertron on the Astro train. I just want to see you do your thing. If you don't know now, then you'll learn. From the earth to the moon, influenced by Jules Verne. I'm not concerned about what y'all gonna do. We'll cruise up among the stars. No matter what you do, I'll get you back up off the wall. Yes, sir.
Packing up for another trip. If you drive by my way, really there is no rush to this. We can rock night and day. Intergalactic love for this. Take me to outer space. Pick me up on that mothership so we can fly away.
I get in trouble sometimes. You make me wonder where we're flying to the sun.
Are we going somewhere?
I get in trouble sometimes. You make me wonder where we're flying to the summer. I get in trouble sometimes. You make me wonder where we're flying to the summer.
Where we going, baby?
Ooh. I get in trouble sometimes. You make me wonder where we're flying to the summer. Like
What y'all trying to do?
hey, 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 hey. What y'all gonna do? We'll cruise up among the stars. No matter what you do, I'll get you back up off the wall. Yes, sir. Yo, life is full of options, switching all the time, but the quickest way from A to B is still a straight line. I ain't lying, that is science. I'm trying to explain, cause if you apply determination, you can do anything. You can put your mind to. Give me the audio chord so I can find something to ride to. We're about to fly to another planet. Is magical, warp speed like it's intergalactic. The way you make me feel, let's dip, cause we can fly in my starship like Han Solo by the castle mines, like Cowboy Bebop with jet inspired, like Captain Kirk on the Enterprise. We can travel far like a Dharma did in a Battlestar. I'm flinging haters like a catapult. You feel the heat, take it off. Like what y'all gonna do? We'll cruise up among the stars. No matter what you do, I'll get you back up off the wall. Yes, sir.
Okay, Everybody wants good love, that's true, I know. Derek Jones about to break it down with the relationship gumbo. Welcome to the podcast. Ain't no doubt we all need this, ayy. Cause better relationships need better ingredients, ayy. So if you want better relations, it's about communication, finding love, staying together. We all wanna make it better, yeah. Derek Jones, the host, your relationship coach. Thank you all for tuning in. Relationship gumbo, ayy.
Hey, everybody. We are back. It's Wednesday, 8 p.m. It's the Relationship Gumbo Live podcast. And tonight we're going to talk about something that I think that will, maybe some of y'all may learn something, but I just think it's hilarious. We're talking about what people expect after they've been on a few dates. Not a relationship, but a couple of dates, and they already expected things from you. So we're gonna have a little bit of fun, but we're definitely gonna get into it tonight. I have an amazing guest coming on tonight. I'll introduce him in a second. But first and foremost, make sure, if you have not already, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube page that you are listening to right now. If you're on the replay, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, click the bell, and if you like the content, make sure you click that thumbs up so that we can tackle these algorithms that's out here in these internet streets. So also, I want to make sure that you guys, the mask mandates and all, just stay safe. Do what you do. And like I said on the last show, even when the COVID and all of that wasn't here, I didn't have nobody right here. So just leave some space. I don't need to feel your breath. And that way everybody be cool, mask or not. So if you're here for the first time, this is also an audio podcast. So we're talking about Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Pandora, you name it, I'm there. So make sure you go there so you can listen to all of the amazing episodes in your ears, in your headphones, in your car, while you're lounging on your couch. You don't necessarily have to pull up YouTube. So that's there for your convenience. In the second order of business, every single Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's the Real Shop Talk. It's 5 gentlemen. I have 4 other co-hosts on the show, and we just talk about real stuff from real grown men in perspective that you don't necessarily hear speaking really loud over these internet airwaves. And we just want to change the narrative and really champion community, champion family, and be better men. So make sure you tune in. This Monday, we are celebrating that man in the middle, Tony Massey. So you make sure that you tune in for that. We're celebrating one of our co-hosts every month because we like to champion people and give people their flowers while we're still here and let people know how amazing they are. So this is gonna be a really amazing show. And if Tony Massey's on here, Tony Massey is going to get a chance to speak, but it's going to be our turn to take this stage and let Tony Massey sit back and relax. So let me get you back here. And so if you're also here for the first time, normally the way this works, because it is an audio podcast, is I will pause for 3 seconds. I will start the podcast and then I'll pause for another 3 seconds. So give me those 3 seconds and we'll get started. And welcome to another episode of the Relationship Gumbo Podcast. My name is Derek Jones, and I'm your host. I'm a certified life and relationship coach, an engineer, a strategist, and a mental health advocate. And tonight, it's all about dating, ladies and gentlemen. People expecting certain things after only just a few dates. Does it make sense? Is it crazy? Do you agree with some of the things that you're going to hear tonight? We're going to chop it up. But I have an amazing guest that I'm going to bring on right now to help me out with this. So stand by and let me bring him up. All right, and I have Mr. Jay Christian here. And I was on his podcast. Is it a week or two? I can't remember. It's not that long ago. 2 weeks. And we had met on another podcast. Shout out to Bet the House podcast. And like I told him when I was on his show, I was like, this is long overdue. When I went on his show, it's long overdue for him to be here. And we just gonna talk, man. I love his perspective. I told y'all, I always tell y'all since the beginning, I like to bring intelligent folks on here that can just speak from their heart and they actually bring their heart into everything that they do. So I'm gonna let him introduce himself, tell us a little bit about himself, and we're gonna get it started, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome to the show, Jay.
Thanks for having me. I am Jay Christian, host of the Cognac Room podcast, and we are on all major platforms. We are also on a couple of television networks through Roku. That's Diva Speaks Network, as well as, Diva Speaks Relationships Network, as well as Grind City TV. We drop new episodes on our audio podcast every Sunday, and there are new episodes every Thursday and Friday on the television networks.
Cool.
That's basically
Cool.
it.
Make sure y'all check that out. I'll have the contact information in the description on YouTube and in the show notes on the audio podcast. So make sure you guys check him out. It's an amazing show. And I was on there too, damn it. So y'all know I just don't go anywhere. So make sure y'all check him out. I'm vouching for it. So we're going to talk about things that we may be aware of, things that I've heard on the internet, and we're going to try to hopefully give some context to them, even though I think some of them are silly. We're going to talk about them all because almost every single thing that we're going to talk about tonight, there's somebody out there that actually believes that this is the way it should be done. So the first thing I want to talk about is, since we're talking about dating, what's your opinion of kind of like in 2022, the state of dating? Like, are people actually doing it the way that we were taught how to do it? Is it, do you feel a shift? Are people just kind of hanging out? Or what's your opinion of where we are today with it?
Yes, so in my opinion, it's definitely not the way that I remember it being when I was really out here on the dating scene like that. It's being done totally differently. People are showing their interest differently, if at all. I mean, it's rough, and the level of expectations for just dates are crazy.
Yeah,
On both sides of the fence, actually.
exactly. And I have a couple of bullet points that I wrote down, and I'm definitely going to go on expectations on both sides. It's not just going to be one way because everybody's catching it tonight. So let's go ahead and kick this off. I'll preface it with this. I think historically, maybe we've always had certain expectations, but I think now people are saying it out loud to the point where it just sounds silly, and it's really egregious now. So I can't say that the expectation part of it is new. It's that people are really unapologetic about just spewing it out, and the unfortunate thing about it is they'll spew it out, but then there's still people out there that accept the behavior. So that's the part that's disheartening to me. So let's go ahead and get started with this. So one thing that I've heard is that there's a lot of men out here saying that if they spend up to a certain dollar amount, then they expect sex after and up to date number 3, they're saying. So by the time the third date, you need to give it up, and I paid for your food. What's your first response to that?
Did they need to give it up and I pay for your food? Oh wow. As a man with daughters, I can in good conscience be okay with that statement. I feel like the purpose of dating is to spend time with someone, to get to know them, to allow them to get to know you. And as the man, there is a burden that falls on you as the man. Mm-hmm. It just is what it is.
Yep. Yeah, it's I always pause when I talk about the roles because I know we're in a different time now. And maybe I sound like the old guy, but if I am the one who is doing the pursuing as the man, there's a certain amount of risk that I know up front that I'm going to have to deal with. And if I take a L, I take a L. And just like the dude said on Friday, you get back up and you fight another day. You gotta know that there's risk. And I think now a lot of the men are saying, I don't want risk, I want guarantees.
Right.
So if I tell you that I'm gonna that I need to hit it by the third date, I'm going to tell you that this is what I expect. So if you show up, date number 3 happens, it's going to be a problem. So where my mind goes with that is, let's say that woman tells you no after the third date. What's the repercussions for that, sir? Like, I need to know what you really plan on. What is the consequence that you plan on divvying out if that doesn't happen? Because now you're starting to sound a little crazy. It almost sounds abusive to me. Like, if you don't, then what am I going? The most you can do is go home and take your loss, like we all have over time, right?
Right.
So
right.
So in Gunter Man in the comments says dating is about gathering data. Yeah, we're gathering data. Where in the dating nonverbal contract does it say you must give me sex or else? What is the or else?
Right.
That's the part that pisses me, because I'm a father of a daughter too. I'm like, so what are you gonna do, sir? Like, I don't get it. But anyway, I thought that was funny because not funny though, because there's a lot of men out here that actually believe this. There are a lot of people on the internet that are saying this, and there's impressionable, people that are listening and saying, yeah, that's that's the route we should go. The problem is the people who are saying it don't even have proof of concept that they found a woman that they were going to be in a relationship. Like, I'm going to tell you with the certainty that this works, although I haven't proven it. It's the dumbest thing ever. So think about that. Think about that, guys. Let me read this one other comment. John says, makes it seem like dudes don't want a willing partner. Like it's amazing when she wants to go there when you do, and not expected or coerced. Exactly. Like, what happened to that? What happened to that? So let me ask you this, right? We're gonna keep it really real tonight.
Yeah.
Have you personally ever set out, you know where I'm going with this, to go out on a date and you expected that person was gonna sleep with you after not even like months? I'm talking about a couple dates.
I'm gonna keep it real. Every date, every time, every date, every time, I expected to get lucky. Now, if it didn't happen, what was my response? How did I react? That's the more pressing issue, or
Right.
the more important thing. And for me, it was a matter of, okay, do I really like her? Am I okay with the fact that I'm spending money and spending my time and I'm not getting what I want?
Right.
If the answer is yes, then I keep going. If the answer is no,
Yeah.
I cut my losses.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
yeah.
never at any time did I try to pressure or force or even convey my expectation, my level of expectation to them. I just kept it to myself.
Yeah, I think I think we all have some sort of expectation here or there, no matter what that expectation is. The difference is that if you don't follow through with my plan that you don't know about, I can't really be upset with you. That's the issue. So we're gonna keep moving right along. Rick says maybe it's for the women that go out for the free meals. That wasn't even on my list, but let's do that right now. Let's do that right now. Let's do that right now. And I can't say it's only women, because now we in a new era, but it's mostly women. Women that go out with the sole expectation that they're going to get a meal out of the date. Have you ever experienced this in your dating career, where you knew that after a certain point she was just hanging out with you because she wanted whatever you was buying? Have you ever experienced
Not really.
that?
I don't think I've experienced that, like, to where it was just painfully honest. No. I mean, painfully obvious. I'm sorry. I don't think so. But there is also, and there should be, a vetting process prior to going on dates. And I think a lot of people they don't know that, or they skip that. So if I feel like the interest really isn't there, then okay, if you're not really interested, but you're gonna go, then it's pretty obvious that you're just going because you want whatever is being offered. I can't recall not even once, man, that was really truly the case.
Yeah.
I have dated women that I didn't sleep with. So maybe they were just really good at hiding it. I don't know.
Well, I as a coach, I've I don't think. Well, okay. So personally, I may have been a victim of this. Like you said, I don't know. It wasn't apparent, but I have talked to a lot of women as a coach that explicitly will tell me that that's what they were doing. So like, I'll give you a scenario, right? So like, the woman, let's say the woman has met a guy. She went out on a few dates with him. He's paying for everything. She loses interest. And then, as a coach, I'm telling you, if you don't like the dude, don't go out with the dude.
Right.
Just cut your losses and keep it moving.
Right.
And the statements normally are, and it's not one person that said this. Well, can I just go out and get some free food? And I'm like, but to what end though? And it's like, because I'm hungry. And I'm like, are you that hungry though? Because now the guy thinks you're interested.
Do you think that this is somewhat of a new phenomenon?
Say what?
Do you think this is somewhat of a newer thing?
You know what? I don't think it's new. I think women have always done this, whether overtly or covertly. Think about this. How many women you know go to the club with no money and they know that they're going to leave drunk? It's the same concept, kind of, sort of, right? Like,
Okay, yeah.
On the first example I gave, the guy still thinks you're interested. He's going to buy you all of this stuff. And then at some point as a woman, you got to plan your exit strategy. But what I told the person was, or persons, because it's more than one. When you get a dude excited thinking that you like him, and then you pull the car, you are now possibly jeopardizing your safety. Depending on what kind of dude it is, right? Because he think everything cool, and I wouldn't even necessarily say, because there's manipulative people. I was going to say I wouldn't necessarily say it's 100% her fault, because both people should be kind of vetting to see kind of where we are. But yeah, it's a lot of people out here that do that, and I see the comments going crazy. So let me read these real quick, and then we're gonna keep going down this list. John says, "Oh, Tashira says I can buy my own meal, and if I ask the man out, I'm paying." Yeah, we're going to get to that in a minute. John Singletary says now, if I find a woman sexually attractive, I'm going to make sure that is known from jump, because I'm trying to clap them cheeks.
And I agree with that. He should do that.
But it's not expected. But if she is with it, I am too. Yeah, that's the whole, yeah. Erica from Dope Discussions Live says, if I don't like you, then my appetite ain't going to be there. If I'm enjoying the food, that means I like you. I've never heard it put that way, but yeah, I see that. Yeah, we're gonna answer that one, Rick, about who pays if the woman asks. Y'all coming up with some good stuff. I don't even got to look at my bullet points, y'all. Love Tucker says that's a different hunger. She wants attention and also acting like the meal is what she wants. So she really wants attention, not necessarily the meal. You think there's some truth to that?
There's definitely truth to that. There are some women who, and y'all excuse me, are what we refer to as attention whores. And they want the attention. They want someone to tell them how nice they look, to kind of, make a big to-do about their presence, and to give them something. And that feeds what they have, that desire that they have. And then these are usually the women that will go somewhere and screw a guy that they like to screw that does not feed that part of them.
Right. You're absolutely correct. And now that I think about it, the people who said it didn't have anybody else at the time checking for them. So they was like, well, I'm going to just go out just to go out and get this free meal because I don't want to sit at home. So
exactly.
Yeah, I definitely I definitely believe that is a very big part of it. So a couple of people in the comments are talking about if the woman asks you on a date, should she pay? What's your first thoughts?
My first thoughts are no. But and so here's the thing. There's a time, in my opinion, there will be excuse me. Okay, let's start over. There will come a time for that, if that is the case. But I believe in the beginning, even if she offers, you should take the lead and say, "No, I appreciate it, and go ahead. Because at the end of the day, there are women who will do that just to see where you are and what you're gonna do.
Yeah, yeah. I think
And
you
as a
sound,
gentleman, you should just want to do it, honestly.
Jay, you sounded like an old man out here, man. It's 2022,
Yeah,
man.
I know.
They,
I know, but like, so for me, that's the way it was. Because I mean, I happen to understand that when certain dynamics of situations change, the perspective and the respect shifts also. So, if you want to be like, if you're trying to get in a girl's pants by the third date, probably a good idea to just go ahead and pay for it, man. Just
yeah,
being honest. Yeah.
yeah. I think I'm built the same way. Like, I'm gonna pay up until a point where almost to the point where I know that we're exclusive, and then we're kind of like a couple, and then you say, okay, I want to pay, then it's kind of like we're on mutual ground. But if I'm, like I said before, if I'm the one, even if you say, hey, I think we should go here, I'm gonna be like, all right, cool, let's go. I'm still paying. But like I said, I think we're a dying breed, sir. I
But
don't want that.
the thing
I
is the
don't.
willingness to do it.
Yeah.
That's what works for me. I'm cool with that. Now, if I sense that things are kind of strange on the other end and funny, then I may
Yeah,
even
yeah, yeah,
suggest
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that they pay just to see where they really are.
Yeah, if there's genuine interest there, I don't mind. But if I'm just kind of like, then you offer them and be like, go ahead and give.
That's right.
Let's see. Lisa Russell says, I don't mind paying if I ask to meet up, but in my lifetime, I think I've paid once. Every man has been really gracious and hello everyone. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said. Matter of fact, let's go into this next piece because now we gonna flip it. Women. And we're talking about coffee dates now, right? Because this is the thing that a lot of people are really like saying, like, this is what you should do on a first date, so nobody's really paying a lot. But this is what I hear from women. Women are saying that coffee dates aren't enough, and that you need to spend a certain dollar amount on her because she's taking her time out to go out on a date with you. What is your first thoughts on that?
Bro, I'll be honest with you. She can keep moving, man. She can keep it going. She's not someone that I'd be interested in anyway.
Yeah,
And that's the whole thing. I think guys feel too much pressure to do things to impress these women because of how they look or because of, the way their bodies are and stuff like that, right? How pretty they are. My thing is, I'm not that hard up. I'm not that desperate for one particular woman. Like, there are so many women out here. There are women who would be interested in me for me, who would say, hey, I'll go to the park with this dude and walk around the park with him because
Right.
I'm interested in it. You know what I mean?
right.
Yeah.
And what they also say, because I keep my ear to the internet streets, so I be listening. They say that a coffee date is low effort, and if you really want me, your effort has to be way above that to let me know that you're really interested. So, personally, I way back in the day, back in the older days when I was single, uh, I didn't really do too many coffee dates because I did my vetting, right? Not that it was, not that they all worked, obviously, but I had the conversations beforehand and we talked and blah blah blah. So it wasn't like I swiped on Tinder and then we meet in tomorrow, because then I don't really have any substance to know how I would want to treat you. So I never really just kind of off the cuff was like, yeah, let's go get a cup of coffee. I had intention every single time. No matter what my expectation was, I wasn't gonna just be like, let's go to Starbucks and get a coffee and talk and go home. That wasn't how I did it, but
Nah.
I don't knock people who do it. I understand why you do it, especially these guys that are like, if I take her out on a date and then it doesn't work, then I'm out my money, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. That's not that's not how we do this. Like, you went to Fridays. Like, how much money are you really losing? I don't. These
Right.
dudes. I say this all
Yeah.
the time, and I'm like, you lost $50. Stop crying, man.
Yeah.
But
But so I think here's the thing. So when it comes to that, in light of what you said that they're saying, when they're like coffee dates show no effort and you take me somewhere nice, spend more money or whatever, I'm worth more than that. Expectation begets expectation at that point.
I know where you're going with this. I know exactly where you're going with this.
You made your demands, now let me make mine.
Right.
That sort of
right,
thing.
Right. Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't catch that, what he's saying is, if you are demanding that I take you on a more expensive date, then my expectation is there's gonna be something that's gonna happen real soon, because I put that money out, to one of the first points that we made. But I can't, these comments, man, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and read these because, like I said, a lot of this stuff is kind of silly to me, but certain parts of it, I guess we're in a different time now, and I get it. Nobody want to get got for their money, but like you said, expectations beget expectations. So, Erica says we can meet up in the park. Love Tucker says exactly. I love park walk. You can feel each other out, and if he reaches out and holds your hand, okay, but that's after you're vibing. Don't just touch me. Tashira says if $50 an issue, you shouldn't be dating. I spend that on my own food.
There's truth there.
John says, yeah, when a woman is digging you, shared time is the cheat code. I don't understand why they cry over dates, but I am old school. Yeah. He also says, if you got a dollar amount on a date, I need a return on my investment.
Thank you.
Say it
That's
again.
what I was gonna.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? It's like when we use the term investment, right? I always thought of it as it's an investment. Like, for me, I'm gonna just say it in real raw words. It's an investment on me eventually locking you down. That's how I took it. But the way that these people are saying it's an investment, it's a down payment on sex. Period. Like, this is you already know what it is. It's been 3 dates. So, because I need to know what I'm getting into. This is what they say. If I'm with you for 6 months and we're dating for 6 months and then the sex is trash, then I wasted my time. So I need to get that early so I know what I'm dealing with. That's what they say.
Yeah, women say it too, believe it or not. But that's one of the things that I did want to say. I feel like traditionally, I know in my dating experience, usually by the 3rd date, something has occurred. If not the 3rd date, then the 4th shortly thereafter, right? And so I think what has happened is that has been the norm for so long that it has become expected. And now that maybe times have changed, women have definitely changed their approach to relationships and dating because, they're fed up. A lot of them have been traumatized and hurt and abused in all kind of ways, until it's, there is some caution there. And then there are those women who are saying, hey, the days of me just being happy that you spoke to me and wanted to take me someplace, those days are over. I need a little more than that.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence because, dang, dude, you a G, man. You said the third date.
So no, that was my experience.
I got
But
you.
we're
I got
talking
you.
about-
I got you.
That was my experience, but it didn't always happen, but it was more common than not.
I believe you. I'm not doubting you. I'm just saying.
So
that
what
track
I'm
record-
saying is I believe that because of that, that's why everybody's saying, hey, like, what's up, man? Usually by this time I'm in there. Like, what's going on?
Yeah. I'm with that as long as it doesn't become aggressive, because that's when it's a
Exactly.
problem. Erica, man, stop looking at my list. We're gonna talk about that next. Let me read a couple of these comments though. Tashira said if she paid for the date, then what is he giving up? Don't be treating us like a piece of meat, to sure, damn it. Dope Discussion says, I don't want no large amount of money spent on me unless I like you. Otherwise, keep that money in your pocket, sir. And Rick says, I've always done full meal dates, but the ladies I took were never over the top in their ordering of food, so it was always fun. Erica, yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute, Erica. And Tony Watts from Triumphant TV says, they have a profession for that. You'll know what it is up front. Shrug, dollar amount too. So then there's that, right? It's like the dollar amount basically for the sex. This is how a lot of people are living on both sides, right? Like, there's women that say you must spend a certain amount on me or I won't go out with you. And then the guy, I guess the people call him thirsty, is thirsty enough to say, okay, I'm willing to pay that, but then what do I get? So it's a weird dynamic, but like I said, it also depends on what you're looking for. It also depends on what you're looking for. If I was single and I was out here dating and I knew that my path and my intention was to find a long-term partner, a wife, I'm willing to spend more time vetting you. And the sex, even though it's important, it's not number one on my list. I think a lot of us move around with sex being number one, that we don't even look at the other stuff. It's like we just throw a coin in the air and hope the rest works, but at least I got the sex. And what I always tell, when I tell people that I coach, you're not going to get everything you want. So the comparison I give them is that if the last guy you slept with or your maintenance man or whatever he is, if his sex is a 10 out of 10, and now you're going around looking for 10 out of 10 sex because that's your bar, when you meet a guy that's great, that checks the check boxes you want to check, and then you have sex with him and it's a 7, do you throw him in the trash? Because it's not a 10? And then they're like, so I can't get 10? I'm like, you don't get everything. You can't get everything on the list. You can't. So if it's a 7, 8, you might have to suck that up to get your husband. Because, like I always tell them, the only way you can guarantee that every guy that you may be interested in this 10 is you got to sleep with all of them. It's the only way to find out. Are you willing to do that every time? So, vetting process be damned. That's what you're going to have to do to ensure that you get that. But then when you do get that, I guarantee you some of that other stuff is going to be missing.
No, yeah, absolutely. Nobody has all of it. Facts.
So let's do this. Rick says, are these traditions are based on times where women didn't work? Yes and no. I think there's kind of nuance to that because I think, like I said, society is turning these roles over on its head, so it's hard to speak. I think there's some validity to that because the man being the pursuer definitely comes from a time where maybe women weren't working and we had to do it. And generations that get passed down, they say, you're the man, you should open the door. You're the man, you should, pick her up and do this and do that. We're definitely light years away from that now. But I think that there's some validity to that. And there's some of us that still toe that line of that we're going to pay and we're going to make sure that you're taken care of and all of that. And I think that, my opinion is I think that it should be that way because even though the woman may have money, she may be successful and all of that. I'm still the big spoon, damn it. I'm still the big spoon. I'm the big spoon. I don't want to be the little spoon. I'm still the big spoon.
Yeah.
And so, if you ever put me in a position where I'm the little spoon, we got a problem. So I like to keep my position where it is. So that has nothing to do with control or anything like that. But I just feel like, I'm the dude that when I hug you, you're gonna feel protected and safe in there. So if
Yeah.
I am the one doing that, I'm gonna take care of you. Let me make sure you good. Let me buy your dinner. Let me get to know you. But like I said, these I earned these little gray hairs I got. So maybe that's not the popular thing now. so so I'm gonna read Rick's comment and then we're gonna go into this 5 p.m. thing that Kevin Samuels made popular. Um, Rick says over the past 10 to 15 years, there are way more women starting and owning business than there are men starting and owning businesses. So yeah, I'ma still need you not to bulldoze me. Let me have the opportunity to handle something. But that's just me. Lisa says I never had a problem reaching out to someone that I was attracted to. I mean, by the third date, you gonna know. Yeah. I think y'all know by the first date whether y'all are attracted enough to do all of that. But we in the times now where people just come with so much stuff, man. You gotta be careful. So back to this 5 p.m. thing. And the only person I really heard saying it really loud online was Kevin Samuels. And y'all know I don't like to say his full name, but for context, and this is the notion. If a man invites you out on a date after 5 p.m., you have an expectation and an obligation to sleep with him on said night. You have to do this because after that certain time, you should know what's up. What's your thoughts on that, sir?
So I don't agree with that. Let me just say it. I don't agree with that. That's like saying, never mind. Anyway, I don't agree with that. And the reason I don't agree with that is because, okay, let's just look at the average person. The average work time is what, 9 to 5, right? A lot of people don't get off till 5 p.m. And if you have any other responsibilities, it's going to push date time back a little further. So what you're saying is I should wait till a Saturday, or she should wait till a Saturday to go out during brunch or lunch hours. And then does that, for one, that's not going to change that guy's expectation. If he expects sex, he's going to expect sex midday.
Right.
Because you're there and he's there.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's foolishness, man. It's rubbish.
Yeah, it bothered me when I heard that because I have a problem with the whole expecting term when it comes to this. Now, there was a time where there may have been some language used and maybe some things that would kind of push you in a direction, but expecting you to kind of bend to my will, that's not even really how that's just my personal thing. I never did that. I might have made the environment so comfortable that you might have been like, okay, now, but it was never you must do what I say. It's after 5 p.m. So let's go ahead. You already know what's going on, whether you like me or not. You're out on a date after 5. So that to me just sounds silly. The person who said it sounds silly. I think we're a little more grown in that. After 5 p.m., come on, man. We talking about early dinner hours. You're just going on a date with this person that to Gunter Man's point, you're gathering information, you're getting a feel for the vibe and all of that. I don't have that expectation. Now I know there's some people that they end up sleeping together on the first night or whatever. I'm nobody's judge. But it flowed into that. That's the key. Expectation to me, and I'm gonna repeat. If I have an expectation and you don't meet it, then I'm automatically pissed off and mad. That's where the problem is. And then what do I do with that anger as a man? Yeah. Or a woman, because we're going to talk about some things. Go ahead.
Because what people don't, those are the guys who say things like that. Those are the guys that as soon as they get a woman to their house, they're pouncing on them, trying to get them.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They're not the guys that make, like you said, set up the atmosphere, play some music, have some conversation. There's been nights that I would talk for hours and hours and hours, and the woman would actually say, hey, can we go to bed? You know what I mean? Because I'm not in any rush or in any hurry. But the point I'm making is those guys that conduct themselves that way, you're actually, it's counterproductive. You're pushing women away
Yeah, exactly.
and you don't realize it. And so now you're just running around mad. If I don't get it by the third date, I'm done.
Yeah.
If you come out after 5 p.m., you should be expecting to do something. It's ridiculous, man.
It's
You've created your own problem.
Yeah, it's one of those things that goes trending, and then like I said, there's a lot of people out there that actually believe this crap. So we're gonna move on. Let me make sure that there's no extra comments. Tony from Triumphant TV says he said that because he needed attention. He doesn't believe no dating after 5 BS. And Erica says after 5 p.m.s, ladies pack that pepper spray and that stun gun for fools who think like that. That's my point. Like, first of all, let me just say this. If you got to do all of that to get you some, you got bigger problems than 5 p.m. Especially in 2022. Stop it. You don't even have to. Let me be quiet, because I love my female. Oh, I said female. I know somebody gonna be triggered by that word. My female viewers. But it's not hard. It's not hard. It hasn't never really been super hard, but it's definitely not hard in 2022. So stop it with all of this crap. John Singletary says, Tony Watts. The context was that a woman was making a demand about courting without sex, and he was jokingly saying, do not go on dates after 5 p.m. Yeah. We're using the clickbait. Yeah, I guess I was. I just thought it was interesting that he kept saying it over show after show after show. But the next place I want to go is I was looking at TikTok, and this guy said that if he spends time with you as a woman, he spends time with you, we're talking about like months dating, and he buys you shoes and gifts and stuff, and y'all going on vacations together, and he meets your parents, that the woman should not have an expectation that they're in a relationship because he never said that they were together. So the woman is asking him, of course, at a point, what are we doing? Because her expectation is, if I am spending this time with you, you done met my parents, you're buying me these gifts, we're going on vacations together, that I'm exclusive. And he's telling her, who told you that? So, what's your first thoughts about this? Should she have expected that they were exclusive because he never said that they were?
No, I feel like you should never assume or expect anything. You talk about it, regardless of what it is. You discuss it or you accept things for what they are. That's my opinion. I everyone may not agree with that, but especially in that context, like we're going here, we're going there. My thing is, before I take you to meet my parents, if I'm gonna take you to meet my parents, we are official and we've discussed it, and it's you understand what I mean? So
yeah. It was an interesting little clip, because even the women were like saying what you were saying that were on the panel, but it was kind of like they were jokingly saying, so you meet the parents, you got down on one knee, gave me a ring, but we not in a relationship because you didn't say they was.
Wow.
I think if somebody, and I talk about this quite often on my show, intention, clarity, knowing exactly where you are, all of this, I don't do titles crap. Y'all need to know where the hell y'all at. And for you to be going 6 months and not knowing anything, I can't really blame the dude for that, because he got what he wanted.
Yeah.
But I also know that there's men out here that will give you psychologically all of the boyfriend cues, but not the words that I am exclusive to you. And that's the thing that's missing. You kind of need both.
Yeah.
And if you don't have both, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Very important. How many times have y'all heard people say after a long period of time of like dating each other, they're gonna be like, "Well, you never asked." So let me read some of these comments here. Dang. So Tashira says, so they can expect sex from a meal or three. I don't know what that says. We can expect a relationship if you're doing a relationship shit. I hate it here in these dating streets. That is. Love Tucker says clarity and confirm. Erica from Dope Discussion says, why is he meeting her parents before the conversation about commitment? Because there's assumption on the woman's part that they are together. He was the dummy for going. That breaks the whole code. If you really about not really defining it, don't meet the parents, don't meet the kids. If that's what you want to do, have your little fun, sir. But when you start going past these boundaries where you know that that woman is assuming and expecting that this means something, because the vacation thing, you know, I hear women talk about it now, like, why go meet at a restaurant? We can meet in Dubai and all of this other stuff. And I'm like, you don't know me. But it's, you know, they're like, we'll have separate rooms, but we can meet in a different country. And I'm like, that's a lot. We talk about risk, that's a lot of risk. That's a whole lot of risk. Y'all in these comments, man. I love it. Okay, so I'm gonna read one more and then we're gonna go. Dang, we almost done hit an hour. Who knew? Lisa says, back in the day, we gathered information talking till 2 a.m. Dates just came a week or two later. Yeah, that's out the door. I'm gonna read one of these bullet points and then I'm gonna speak to that real quick. Because I do have some context to that. Let's see. Let's see. Let me pick. And we talked about this. Well, no, we talked about a piece of this. So the expectation that people have where they say, I'm going to do it in kind of two parts. We will go Dutch all the way up until that you prove or that we kind of know that we're exclusive. I have the expectation that you're going to pay for your half and I'm going to pay for my half until there's a time where I know that we rocking together. And then as the man, I'll start to pay for everything from that point. What do you think about that?
No. So, no. It's like I said earlier, as the man, take the lead, take charge, pay for the meal. If you don't like her after the first date, then don't go on any more dates. It's very simple. There is a time and a point at which you guys can go Dutch. And that does show that, hey, you know what? She's not just in it for a meal, you know? But at the end of the day, you have to take a risk. You invest in the stock market, not, you know, you make an investment in the stock market, no guaranteed return. It's the same thing.
Yeah. And they also say they had those, I don't know if you've seen these clips where and I know that they're doing a skit, but maybe somebody does this in real life where they have the little electronic thing where you pay for your meal and it says, do you want to split the thing or not? And the guy's like, so you coming back to the crib? And she's like, no. And then he's like, split the tab.
Oh
and
my God.
so this speaks to, you know, expectation. If I'm going to pay for the whole bill, you coming back to the crib. If you're not coming back to the crib and you going to your car, I got to take you home, then we're splitting the check. What's your first thoughts on that?
No, I'm not doing that. It's just it comes off as thirsty, and it's a woman repellent. It's a sex repellent. You're repelling yourself from getting any, and that's why you run around mad and screaming all this bloody murder about women because you're. I mean, man, no. So I think, but also one of the issues too. I've heard this. I've read this. Statistically speaking, millennials specifically are having less sex than than the generations prior to. So I think there is a sex thirst that exists in that specific age range. But I'm hearing guys like that dude, KS, and these other people who are much older with this mindset.
Yeah.
And I think, like I said, I just feel like it's becoming more fair seeming because it's being promoted and it's being said everywhere. And so people who have, like you said earlier, have possibly felt this way, now they're free to express it. And now it's like, I'm just gonna say it. And now, hey, yeah, and it's just it's like a fire, it's spreading like wildfire at this point. And it's really destroying dating for everybody.
Yeah, and the other side to the coin is, as silly as we may think some of this is, there's somebody out there that is allowing it, no matter what side. So it bothers me that that's the case, but I think we've been dealing with similar things throughout history. It just made it look a different way. But if somebody doesn't pay for, like, to me, if I was a woman and that dude hit that thing and say split the check, I'll pay for my half, but you ain't gonna see me again. We not doing that.
Never
we
again.
definitely not doing that. So the other point I wanted to touch on as we start to kind of ramp down here, when Lisa said back in the day we gathered information talking till 2 a.m. This is a slight tangent, but it still does that. So that's staying on the phone that long, talking, it's exciting and make you feel good and all that. That requires the person to have conversation. Look at where we are now. And here's a point. I was going to do a Instagram live about this, but text messaging, people, because they use text messaging so much, even in the dating realm, that they are building connectivity with people over text. And they're building a false sense of security over text. So once that happens, and then you finally meet the person, the person in person. Now you haven't really talked on the phone and really got the feel, the voice, and the FaceTimes and all of that. Y'all primarily been doing text, and it's a text kind of relationship. And then by the time you see them, there's an expectation because we've built this false sense of security, like we cool with each other over text message. That when I see you, it's about to be on and popping. And I just think that's like, I never really thought about that, even as being a coach, that a text message conversation can make you feel so good that you think you're safe. That boggles my mind. But it's human interaction. I guess it can happen any place, but I just think it's weird. I know back in the day with online dating, you would be chatting and talking for so long that by the time that you finally got to that first date, it was like, come here. and
Yeah.
all of the other stuff, that the cues that we look for, the body language, the mannerisms, do we vibe, all of that goes out the window. The whole vetting process is over because we talked on the phone, every night for 4 hours every night. And now it's like, we don't even need to go through all that. And that's where a lot of people miss the mark. So
I used to have this technique that I used as a bad guy, like just not a decent individual. And that technique was, I would try to expedite the process by having a series of dates clustered close together over maybe a week span, so that it feels like there was more time that had been invested than there actually was. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it's like you just like, yeah, the other day and I saw him this day and we were on the phone, and so you've created this mirage, right? And so it's like, because I feel like I've known you forever, or I feel like I've been seeing you for months, I'm comfortable enough to do this with you.
Yep. And it's it works.
It works.
It's unfortunate, but it does. But yeah, so just to kind of cap the show off, I will say as a disclaimer, I don't judge anybody's movements. Do what you feel like you need to do, but this whole primarily the sex expectation that a lot of people have, and I missed a lot of comments. I'll read the comments before we leave. This expectation of sex, we gotta really kind of move smarter. I know everybody wants to get it in. I know we're in this whole everybody's sexually free and all of this, but y'all be doing all of this stuff and then still be talking about I want a husband or a wife, and it's two different trajectories that you got to go on. That's not to say that you can't have sex, but that can't be the only thing that you kind of strive for. And then after the fact, like that post blank clarity thing, somebody asked me about that. We'll say post peanut clarity. Somebody asked me about this on another platform, and I was like, if I know what I want and I have intention, that's not going to make or break whether I want to still see you, unless the sex was just like ill, like it just didn't make sense. But after the sex, if I still have kind of done that kind of conversation and vetting before that happened, I'm gonna stay there. They're saying that, people are making decisions that, they go on a date or two and then they have sex, and then the guy's like, yeah, I'm good, and they just disappear. And I'm like, so you never really had intention to really get to know this person. Stop playing with this word salad.
Yeah.
So let's get a couple comments in, and then we're gonna start wrapping up. Erica says if they being intentional about vetting the women they're dating, then once you ask her out, you're not questioning if she's trying to use you. Due diligence, please. Yeah. The problem with due diligence, it takes effort and time, and people don't have time. They want to just hurry up and figure it out yesterday. Gunter Man says, yes, it could definitely happen, but it may not be real, but a person will not be able to talk on the phone or in person. Yeah. It's possible for somebody to fall in love over the phone or over the text message and all of that. But I think people who aren't really vetting intentionally, they'll build these relationships that don't have any kind of substance. And then when you get to see them in person and you're really trying to take the time out to get to know them, you don't even really care about it. You're just going to go ahead and get straight to it. Dope Discussion said love bombs. Kalisha says not everybody. Yeah, we never say everybody on this show, Kalisha, because that would be disingenuous. I'm going to go ahead and start landing this big plane that we've been on for this hour. So this is what I want you to do, Jay. Is there any other comments you have about the topic? And then I want you to tell people a little bit about what you do on your podcast, like the type of content that you have on there, and then tell them how to find you, and then we're going to get out of here.
Okay. I think I've agreed with everything you've said. I just feel like I don't think anything's going to change with this situation until people want a different outcome. So guys have to want a different outcome. Women have to want a different outcome. And I mean, it's kind of like you set a standard, you set a bar. And when that's the bar across the community or across the board, then others have no choice but to rise to the occasion, so to speak.
Right.
So as long as there are people giving in to the BS, there'll be BS. Right.
You're right.
As far as my podcast, what it is it's an uninhibited, drink-infused podcast about adulting and male and female interactions. It's me and two incredible young ladies that give me a hard time, but they keep me on my toes. And we talk about, relationships. And so you can contact us or reach us or find us on Facebook and Instagram at the Cognac Room Podcast. There's underscores between each word. And TikTok at J Christian, YouTube at the Cognac Room Podcast. We have YouTube videos up, and of course on all platforms at the Cognac Room.
Cool. And like I said, guys, I'll put that in the description in the show notes for the audio version as well, so you guys can follow him. So this was good. Like I said, we was gonna laugh a little bit because it's. I always try to catch myself from sounding like the old guy because the people doing stuff, but I just think that there's certain tenets that we need to stick to for us to really kind of build better relationships. 'Cause the relationship space is just crazy right now.
Facts.
So guys, thank you guys for coming. Y'all had the comments going crazy tonight. I appreciate you guys for coming back. Next time you come, make sure I always say invite a +5 so we can get these numbers up so I can continue to bring you some amazing content. And I believe next week I have a gentleman named Reese McNeil. He's coming on. He's the self-love ambassador. So we're going to get that in. And I got some good. I feel like the rest of this month is gonna be all men, I believe. So that's a first. Because I normally have a lot of women come on here and share the stage. But I'm glad, starting with you, brother. We're gonna go ahead and let the men get it in this month. So, and also, guys, make sure you come back for the celebration of Mr. Tony Massey on Monday on the Real Shop Talk. We are going to have some fun with that show as we always do. So make sure you go to realshoptalk.net. Erica from Dope Discussion says keeping old school values alive. Yeah, I'm gonna keep them alive as long as I'm alive, man. That's always gonna be a part of my platform. I can't with some of this stuff that I'm seeing out here. I keep my hand on the pulse of what's going on, but I think like some of this stuff, I'm like, come on, man. How do you really get to know this person? And then then they complain about relationships not working. I'm like, you think? So anyway, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you guys for coming through, and we will see you next week, same time, same place. Y'all make sure y'all stay safe out there. Whatever you do, take care of your family, the old ones, the young ones, everybody in between, but especially yourself. We will see you next week, and have an amazing evening.
Okay, everybody wants good love, that's true, I know. Derrick Jones about to break it down with the relationship gumbo. Welcome to the podcast. Ain't no doubt we all need this, ayy, cause better relationships need better ingredients, ayy. So if you want better relations, it's about communication, finding love, staying together. We all wanna make it better, yeah. Derrick Jones, the host, your relationship coach. Thank you.